So in the last class, we have already talked about the union budget. This Yojana edition also focuses on the union budget. So we would be going through some of the key highlights again. First of all, talking about the Finance Commission in India. It was constituted in 1951 under KC Niyogi, and it was under the Article 280. So those are some of the important things that you must know about Finance Commission. And its idea was to maintain a balancing wheel between the structural and the inherent imbalances that are there in contrast to the in regards to the resources and the expenditures that are taken. So 15th finance commission has been important. Now it was constituted in 2017, and the recent edition talks about a report, finance commission in COVID times. The idea is to focus on performance based incentives, appropriate level of governance, minimum governance and maximum government, and talking about a fund specifically dedicated for defense internal security purposes. Now focusing on the approach, so there have been two approaches. First is the vertical approach, the next is the horizontal approach. So vertical approach talks about the taxation processes being going between the center and the state. So how the adjustment have been made, and over the 14th finance commission, how 15th finance commission has made an adjustment of around 1%, but that is due to the changes with Jammu Kashmir and the Ladakh that has become a separate union territory as of now. The horizontal distribution focuses on the development mainly on the need, equity and performance. Now this horizontal distribution is important. The weightage given to the different sectors has been given. Now significant weightage has been given to income distance. Another important weightage has been given to population and area. If you look on to the states with per capita, the state domestic product, we have Bihar and Uttar Pradesh among the lower edges. However, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu are on the higher sides. Now focusing on in terms of the devolution, we have seen lower devolution for these states. Now talking about the recommendations, we have various categories for grants. Now these grants are either sector specific, state specific, they are meant for local government or disaster management. There have been various components. Now for local government, what we have is for million plus cities, there has been 100% grant that has been given through the Million Plus Cities Challenge Fund. Similarly, for the local, we have for the national priorities, we have rural level development for the village block and different categories. Now in response to this, we are also focusing on accountability for local bodies in terms of disaster management, state specific and sector specific grants for health, for doctors, paramedic. Then we also are focusing on defense as one of the major sectors. So under the defense, we are focusing on nearly 40,000 crores per year for defense, 10,000 for home ministry and 1,000 for Jawan welfare fund. Union government has also talked about the public accounts of India, which is a non-lapsable fund mainly dedicated for the monetization for the defense and internal security. So a separate fund would be constituted for the same purpose. Under Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are trying to bring in competition, innovation and delivery of economic growth. The idea is to achieve 5 trillion economy by 2024 and create an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we are focusing on liberalization of foreign direct investments mainly in insurance sector, bringing in more tax stable structure, and as we said, with minimum government we are talking about maximum governance. Sorry, in the beginning there was a mistake, I believe. Now talking about the various highlights of the budget. So indirect taxes, we are focusing on GSTs, reforms through electronic and digital media, so e-filing, nil filing through SMS, quarterly return and monthly returns for small payers. Similarly, pre-filled GST forms would be available. Now GST compliance would be more easier and effective through the amendments that have been brought. Under the direct taxes, the time for reopening of the cases, the old cases, has been reduced from 6 years to 3 years, so that's a benefit. Then we have dispute resolution committee that has come up, faceless IT settlements that have been taking place, and also the settlement commission has been removed. Senior citizens above the age of 75 earning their income only through pension or interest income would no longer be liable to file the income tax returns. And also there has been relaxation of business activities, mainly in the fintech cities, for example Gift City in Ahmedabad. For the customs, we are focusing on PMP or PLI, which is the Field Manufacturing Program, and the performance linked incentives for setting up domestic industries. We are also talking about more than 400 existing exemptions to be reviewed by August 2021 for the stakeholder consultation. Also, there would be a one digital single interface system to interact with the customs. In relation to agriculture, we would have an agricultural infrastructure and development cess that would be levied. For the custom duties, there has been a change in the custom duties. For example, import duty has been raised on raw cotton, cotton waste, raw silk, silk yarn. The idea is to promote Atmanirbhar Bharat. Also, custom duty on iron and steel scrap and cotton scrap has been rationalized. We are also seeing numerous changes in the textile industries. Promoting domestic industries has been one of the motives, mainly for the small and medium scale industries. Faceless IT dispute settlement has been important. So dispute resolution would be taken into account for income taxable up to 50 lakh, and for up to 10 lakh it would ensure a faster, smoother, accountable system. So better disposal of the case would be taking place. Also, we are talking about one nation, one ration card system. The idea is to promote ease of doing business, to bring in reforms in the local sector, and there would be 4 bodies working hand in hand, which is Ministry of Power, Housing, Industry and Food. Now this is one of the technology driven welfare schemes that would be released, and all the migratory population, in terms of the daily wage earners, the laborers, the poor urban and the temporary workers would be part of it. In terms of ease of doing business, the approval regulations would be relaxed, and there would be elimination of physical interference that would be taking place. We are also focusing on district level business reform action plan, so that would focus on computerizing a central random inspection system, and within 48 hours all the inspection reports to be uploaded onto the website. So these are some of the approvals that have been seen. So for one nation one card, we have the highest number of amount that had been granted in contrast to the power reform. So this is a kind of development that we have seen. Now talking about the governance, under the governance, the treasury single account system would be extended for universal applications, and this would be directly from drawing the funds from the government account. Power sector reforms would be taking place. 3 important power sector reforms would take place. There would be social sector development plans that would be taking place. For the health, there would be preventive, curative and well-being aspect that would be attached to it. So National Center for Disease Control would have 5 branches that would be established. Critical care hospitals would be established. Better implementation of nutritional programs, Poshan Abhiyan, would take place. Also, we would focus on a holistic coverage, focus on integrating the health information portal and bringing in more aspirational districts under the nutrition program. Under the Swasth Bharat coverage, we would be establishing more public health labs, more critical care centers, emergency operation units, and one national institution for One Health, a research platform with the help of WHO Southeast region, and 9 biosafety regional laboratories. That would be another important marker, because these would be level 3 laboratories that would be established. We already have a National Institute of Virology at Pune, and there would be 4 more regional virology institutes that would be established. For Skill India, we are focusing on more training and apprenticeship. We are focusing on more infrastructural development. Clean water supply has been important under the Poshan Abhiyan and the nutritional program. So Jal Jeevan Mission Urban has been important, through which tapped water connection would be provided to each household, and liquid waste management would be taking place in more than 500 Amrit cities that would be there. For the economic growth, as we said, minimum government, maximum governance, we are focusing on four important aspects: being meticulous, focusing on inclusive growth, a transparent system, and a growth oriented system. So the recovery and the asset reconstruction has been important. The development finance institution would be established with a seed money of 20,000 crores, and then there would be a lending portfolio that would be coming up for the next couple of years. If we have seen the estimated funds for 2021-22 flowing in, we would see the capital has increased in terms of expenditure. However, the revenue would see a slight decline, but in terms of receipts of revenue, we have seen a slight increase, and the capital has seen a slight decline. So that makes it a significant development, we could say. For textile, we would have the textile mega investment textile parks that would be established. These would be globally competitive, provide better investments and employment generation. Operation Green schemes would be established and enhanced to 22 perishable crops that would be part of it. For agriculture, as we said, we are focusing on micro irrigation funds, which would be doubled. APMC mandis would also be strengthened, and rural livelihood would be further strengthened. For COVID response, we have a short-term pain, long-term gain idea, where we need to have lessons from the Spanish flu. A V-shaped economic recoveries ought to be considered, and we have seen a growth rate in agriculture which has been a very substantial in 2019-2020. The Swamitva scheme has been released. We have covered this separately in one of the lectures. The idea is to maintain the land records in the digital format, and all the financial benefits would be percolated to the right person. We are also focusing on financing the allied fields like fishery, animal husbandry. Seaweed farming is a new concept that has come up. Since India has a huge coastline and more than 800 species of seaweeds, a multi-purpose seaweed park would be established in Tamil Nadu, which has a probability to provide large-scale employment and income facilities. Now, when it comes to minimum support, India has fixed the minimum support for the first time for wheat at 54 per quintal. We are also talking about a scheme where we have numerous crops that have been covered. So far 7 oil seeds, 7 cereals and 4 commercial crops are part of MSP program. However, these MSPs are considered based on the recommendations from the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Pricing. Now, these recommendations are submitted separately for the Kharif and the Rabi season to the Government of India twice a year, and the post-harvest procurement is decided based on that. Now, under this, MS Swaminathan report has been important, which said MSP must be 50% of the cost of production. Now, how this cost of production is calculated is interesting. We have covered this separately as well. Now, the idea is A2 is the cost of input, which includes seed, fertilizer, labor, fuel, etc. A2 plus FL is the cost which includes the unpaid family labor, and C2 is the cost which also includes the rent on land and interest on the capital assets over and above the A2 plus FL. So that is C2. Now, at present, the cost is calculated based only on A2 and FL. However, we are now focusing on calculating the cost based on C2, which includes the rent on land and the interest on the capital assets that is there. Now, when it comes to infrastructure, we are focusing on a national monetization pipeline. So, privatization is one of the ideas that we are focusing on, and then we are also talking about the ocean route to be developed. So, Sagarmala project, which is the country's logistics sector. So, Maritime Vision 2030 and growth with this sector has been very important. Also, for the roadways, we are talking about new economic corridors being planned. For example, Madurai Kolam, Chittoor, Thachur. So those are some of the columns that have been planned. We are talking about a hydrogen energy mission for 2021-22 to generate hydrogen from green power sources. Also, alternative sources have to be taken into account. Railway logistics to be strengthened. We are focusing on future ready railway systems to be developed. Urban infrastructure includes more of metro systems to be developed. So Metro Light and Metro Neo are two of the systems that we are experimenting with, which could provide better means of transport and communication to the tier 1 and the tier 2 cities that would be there. So Kochi, Chennai, Bangalore, Nagpur have been working really good with the metro projects. When it comes to education, we are focusing on improving school education. National Education Policy 2020 to be released soon. Now we have 750 Eklavya residential schools that have been set up. We are now focusing on more and more of Sainik schools with private partnership and NGO support. So more than 100 Sainik schools have been planned. An integrated teaching system for quality school education has to be developed. Now under the education system, we are focusing on post-matric scholarship. Now this would be with the help of Japan and UAE based on human skill-based approach. NEEDER is a new scheme which is National Digital Educational Architecture. This would be working along with the NISHTA scheme. We have covered NISHTA scheme again separately. That is a support which has been provided to teachers and learning activities. The Higher Education Commission is ought to replace the UGC at present. Now a central university has been planned at Leh. We are also talking about a better synergy between the research institutes, universities and colleges. When it comes to the initiative for school heads and teachers holistic development, that is the NISHTA scheme, we are talking about more experiential and joyful learning and an engaged system for pedagogical research. Now here we can see the funding for education has to be is supposed to increase in this budget. Similarly, for school education, Samraga Shiksha and National Education Mission has to be increased. Now, if we talk about in terms of percentage increase, a significant percentage increase would be going for higher education and National Education Mission in terms of percentage, and a huge allocation has been seen for RUSA scheme as of now. Also, there have been new initiatives which include concepts like Bharatiya Bhasha Vishwavidyalaya, the Institute of Translation. We are focusing on academic bank of credit, where electronic DigiLocker would be maintaining all the credits, and if you are switching the universities, switching the campuses, those credits would be transferred. Also, when it comes to climate, that is one of our prerogatives. Now, for climate, we are focusing on more electric vehicles, better afforestation, more disaster resilient infrastructure, clean energy systems to be developed, and better gas transport systems to be developed. So a gas transport pipeline to be developed for Jammu and Kashmir, and an independent gas transport system operator to be developed across India. When it comes to clean air initiatives, we are focusing on the problems of air pollution in the million plus cities. Also, Swachh Bharat Urban focusing on garbage management, single-use plastic, and the urban waste management. Scrapping policy would include how the fitness test could be done for the various vehicles. Now, this would be a timeline of 15 years for the commercial vehicle, 20 years for the scrapping policy for domestic vehicles. The production linked scheme has been strengthened. We are focusing on boosting employment opportunities in electronic sectors directly and indirectly, and it is believed that nearly 3 times indirect employment could be generated in electronic sector as of now. City bus services would be better developed. There would be more possibilities for launching hydrogen energy mission, green energy mission to be initiated, and we are also talking about the reduced use of paper. So this time there was a digital budget indeed. What needs to be done is we are focusing on a kind of climate budget tagging tool to be developed. The negative externalities for certain policies should be minimized, and this would be a way forward for bringing in more foreign direct investment. Better privatization opportunities could be seen, and for the infrastructure, as we already said, national monetization pipeline and national infrastructural pipeline are important. Now this would include gas distribution, railway network, roadways network, and better project management. Now, what could be some of the major developments that we have seen over the years? We are talking about some of the important terms these days. Those are forward track, neighborhood first, act east, and informal diplomacy. Now, all these make India geopolitically very, very strong. We have given a new direction to Indian Air Force by bringing in Rafale. Also, we have been focusing on various treaties with Hormuz and Bab al Mandeb. We are also focusing on naval exercises to be conducted jointly with various Gulf countries. A non-military nuclear pact would be signed with Russia, has already been done with Russia. So those are some of the developments. We have also entered with Wassenaar agreement. Now, Wassenaar agreement, again we have covered a separate lecture, a very, very important topic that needs to be covered. Now, as a part of India's BRICS summit, we have been focusing on two important issues under BRICS. Those are digital health and traditional medicine system in India. We are also focusing on an effective way for global recovery, how the V-shaped economic curve, the recession curve could be checked, and how a global, stable, secure, and prosperous growth could be brought forward. So, India and Russia has been working with joint missions on countering terrorism as well. So those were some of the highlights that we have covered under BRICS Summit. Now, this was about some of the main things we have covered in the Yojana edition. We would be covering many more interesting lectures for Yojana Kurukshetra and fortnightly down to earth. So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Have a wonderful day ahead.